Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am excited once again to discover what this time together may bring. So sincerely, all of you who are already stopping in, saying hello, sharing your support, sincerely, truly, thank you. Thank you for joining me live. And all those who may tune in at later times, different platforms, blessings and greetings to all of you as well. Today, again, I'm kind of inspired, but also pretty laid back. I'm not as grumpy as I was yesterday, that's for sure. Today, the topic, what prevents change? And truly, I've come to learn this for myself. All we do need is love. Love is the answer. It's not cliche, it's not corny, it's not cheesy. It's true. From what I've learned through education and experience in this life I'm living, as love grows, the miracles of forgiveness, compassion, inspiration, and courage, they're easily found as love grows. And I forgot, maybe I'll pull it up. We'll see where the day leads, but for those who have been a part of this Talcottian adventure, I did make it down to City Council again last night. Followed up with another email today. The question, the topic of today is kind of tied to my life experience, my interactions with other people, including City Council, people online, people in the community, my real life. What prevents change? Change is a normal part of life. It's a growth. It's an activity. It's normal. Yet people are so resistant to change. And I know I used to be that way. I also know how much freedom it brings when the topic, yeah, not perverts change, but what prevents change. And today is Talcott Tuesday. It's good humor. I am going to drop the link here shortly, but I want to get a few thoughts out first. What prevents change? Often in our minds, we'll point to things external, all these situations, all of those people, all of these reasons prevent my change. Now, I've said this often, and it's something I realized for myself, but it is an absolute truth. Partial truth creates total confusion, right? Partial truth, like in our minds okay, sorry, I'm remembering some thoughts and I didn't make notes on, but there's been a lot of misunderstandings of my intentions. There's been a lot of descriptions and narratives about what I'm doing. I'm not here telling anyone what to think. Okay, that's your choice. You get to choose what you think. What I'm hoping to offer is different ideas on how to think. Right? The process of thinking, changing that process of thinking, because only you can break your own past conditionings, just as I was allowed to do. So what really prevents us from changing, truly, comes from the heart, not the mind. It's the willingness, right? But a heart loses willingness and it starts closing off to greater adventures when the mind becomes corrupted. And an obvious thing an obvious fact, that which is done repeatedly becomes a habit. So the habits of thoughts we carry, they're not visible except within. And it's real easy to get trapped in those thoughts, to get lost in the mind, losing connection with the heart. And I tell you what, when you lose connection with the heart, you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you are. You don't know who you are if your heart is not united. So, what truly prevents change? It's not so much the factors, it's more so the willingness. And here, the reason I brought up the partial truths create total confusion, and I wanted to point out like the methods of our mind, particularly the reasoning, the logic, it's math. Logic and reasoning, it follows a process just as math does. But if you're only looking at a part of an equation, you're never going to find the right answer. In order to find the right answer in any mathematical equation, in any life equation, you must be willing to include all relevant variables. This is where the egoic mind gets confused because it wants to pick and choose the variables so that it gets the answer it wants. But we don't want partial truths. We want to know. And there's a lot to know about who you are and what you are. But we don't know who we are or what we are until we start asking ourselves questions. So, what does this mean? Oh, my goals, right? No, goals, period. What are goals? What creates and brings change? Forward thought, right? You review the past, you assess the present, and you use your power of mind to predict and to imagine the future and the life that your heart wants to know. So to truly bring forth the change in your life that you're looking for, it starts with goals, right? Goals, what do goals do? Goals, not plans, goals, right? I want to achieve this. I want to accomplish this. I want to experience this. I want to learn this. Those are goals. Goals give us clarity of our wants. If you don't know what you want, you just, what are you doing? Avoiding what you hate? It's the way of the ego, the egoic mind, the conditioning of our society. It uses greed, selfishness, fear to create all of these imagined limits within us. So the goals, and I encourage you, whoever you are, and you know what? I care. I really do care. Oh man, I deleted the banner instead of bringing it up. I was going to bring up my number. For those who are interested in developing your own goals, getting clarity in the future that you want, reach out to me. The easily reached in the content, in the description and such. But here, should we work together with the goals? These are the conversations we're going to have, is questioning you. So through your mind, you can go within your heart to find the answers that are true for you. What does your heart want you to do? Get clarity of that in your mind. In order to know what you want to achieve, you've also got to know where you are. Okay, so by working on clarity of the future, we can find clarity in the present too. And if you really want to succeed in your goals, do your own comparison. Get out a pen and a piece of paper and do a chart, right? Get the variables out of your mind and in front of you so you can see what you're working with. Here I am. Actually, here's what my heart wants me to become. Here's where I'm hoping to experience whatever. And then you go backwards to where you are in the scope of the goals that you want. In doing that as well, you'll want clarity of your goal. clarity of your present. And then another exercise to ensure success is to get clarity on what that success will bring, right? For me, I've achieved a lot of goals I've set for myself, and I'm continuing to grow in many of my goals, and I'm continuing to pursue many of my goals. Some of my goals are shooting at the moon, right? I want to end wars. I want to be a part of ending wars. I want to bring true reform to the world economics and political states. And what would that achieve? For me, I'm not so worried about me. I know the world would appreciate a better world, and I believe there would be many people willing to support those involved in a better world. But the future I see is a world of peace, a world where we are truly all around the world filled with love and joy and peace. Why? Because those are our birthrights. Peace and joy and love, those are our birthrights. Don't deny don't deny yourself your birthright as a child of God. Because it truly is the universal forces of creation, the God power that's beyond us. It created me who I am today. It created you into who you are today. And we do have a lot of power within us that's not been realized, not been discovered. Hey, you know what? Talcott Express, blessings and love to you. I truly do appreciate the love, the support, the encouragement, the fun you guys bring. I could keep going on, but I'll start slow. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link, and we'll see where the day brings. For those who are present and wish to join, you are welcome to do so. But I'm going to be asking, particularly if some of the people I'm thinking of show up, we're going to get into this. What prevents change? Change of attitude, change of awareness, change of opinions. I had this other idea earlier today too. Seeing some of the news and some of the commentary, there's a lot of people questioning regarding the shooting incident with Donald Trump at the recent rally. There's been a lot of speculation and wonder about, is it real? Is it all scripted? That was the term I heard. Is this all scripted? Well, they do say the world is a stage, do they not? So why would we assume that it is not scripted? And I have humbled myself to the likelihood, the reality that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And as a result of that spiritual being in a human experience, there's battles for control over us. So where would the scripts be found? In the minds of the actors. And so why wouldn't there be the potential of beings of consciousness and energy that are beyond the physical form that might be able to influence the ideas and the thoughts that we consider? Because it's the ideas and the thoughts that we consider that's truly what brings forth our life. Hey, I've got a guest in the back there, Josiah, welcome back, my brother, but it says devices not connected. So I'm not sure if you're able to hear me or not, but it might be changing. And here, another observation in looking into our minds. Here, actually, I'm going to go ahead and bring, looks like Josiah's here. Welcome, my brother. How are you?
Hi, Jack. Thanks, man. I'm great, man. I was just I'm glad my son has calmed down a little bit. He was in the background when I tried to mute. Yeah, man, we got to learn how to become givers somehow. So what I was.
I think you froze. Yes, you did freeze. So this is a great question, Lizard Tree, and I do understand how my words could come out wrong, or how my words could be
So
understood
Elijah,
differently.
very different. Yeah. You know me, man. I studied the Kabbalah. I just wanted to share about this week's portion is Balak, and that's very. I mean, I'm not. It's very. It's for protection against the evil eye, and yeah.
I'm not sure I know what are you doing? I'm trying to.
I was looking at this. You're talking about scripts, my friend, and
well, just briefly, the topic is what prevents change. But please, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. What did you have on scripts?
Well, anyway, yeah, this week is Donald Trump just got. I'm not sure if that's a show, but anyway, he was protected by the scripts, and at the end of this week's portion, my friend, is an article called "In the Time."
I didn't do that, but the Lord works in mysterious ways. Something else I was observing. Thank you, Josiah. You're welcome to return, but the connection was horrible. So if we come back to the idea of how our minds work, right? If you're aware of how your mind works, it allows you better control. If you know how anything works, it allows you better control. And if you, I heard this I mentioned I was taking another online course, and in the topic of hypnotism, they pointed some theories. Some people don't believe in hypnotism, others do, right? But those who don't believe that hypnotism is what it is, so I understood, it points out that the process that's being used, it's a utilization in the mind of concentration, imagination, and suggestions, right? Offering suggestions and inspiring, leading the imagination with a leading so that the individual can concentrate on their imagination and the suggestions that are offered. Well, our entire lives are created through what we concentrate on, where we focus our mind, what we imagine, and the suggestions that we discover through the days. So here, let's try this again. Welcome back, Josiah. Are you there, brother?
Right. Anyway.
All right. Holy cows, man. Swinging back to some of the ideas I offered, especially recently, tying into the ideas of rest, allowing yourself to pause, to rest, to go within, to allow yourself to reset, allow your mind to reset, allow your nervous system to reset, allow your breathing and your circulation, allow everything within you to reset, to become present, to become whole, to become divine, because that is who we are. We are sourced from the divine. We are aspects of the divine. We have connections and powers within our minds, our hearts, that influence and not just influence, but we have powers in the world, right? The energies that we carry. If you walk around as, well, what just popped into my mind is the idea that these bodies, they're generators, amplifiers, resistors, governors, whatever you want to call it. There's a power and a force of life that rolls through us. We can either limit that power through our can'ts, cannot, our judgment, our bitterness, our memories. We can limit and distort that pure divine energy of life that flows through us, or we can humble ourselves and unite with it. See, it seems scary, and I trust this is by perfect design. We have the free will to choose what is true, to choose what is loving, to choose what comes from God. We also have the choice to choose what is selfish, what is not true, what is just for us. But wisdom is, well, here, we've got, try this again. Welcome back, Josiah.
Hey, yeah, I just want to listen to you kind of for a minute, man, because I want to be sure this connection with StreamYard.com, you know, is all good. But I'll finish my first thought, man, if I could. This article in the Time of Messiah, it's actually about a star that's coming on September 27th, you know, the comet Atlas. And it's very poignant for the times because we are living in the time of Messiah, and it's very great to behold. These scripts, man, it's
Praise God. Yes, I want to come back to that question. I do not believe people who continue to work are stupid for working. I don't fault that. What I do know is God has every single one of us where we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be slaves to wages, though. Okay? I mean, there is value in work. I don't deny that. And all of these fools that want to paint me out to be different than that are just ridiculous. Work is a part of life. I mean, how else do we get things done if we don't work? But the design of what we've got here, let me come back to your question, right? Wherever we go, we can become the light and realize that the job of today, it may be for today, right? It may only be for today, but as long as you can accept that life is temporary and you can be still in your mind looking for change, you go through your day where you are with joy, with peace, being the best service, right? Whatever job you're doing, do it in the heart of service so that you're serving the employer, serving the customer, whatever it is that is appropriate. Service is why we're here. It's been the ways of the world have distorted the natural laws of offering, receiving, sharing. The ways of the world became corrupted because of selfishness, the devilish ideas of give and take, punishment, retribution, debts, profits. It's all insanity. So, I'm going to try again, Josiah. Hey, Josiah, your connection sucks. You've been interrupting this for a little bit now. And I hope you can hear me, my brother. but it seems to me you're one of the guests who's arrived here, and you really you have not given thought to what I am doing here. I am, yes, I don't deny never mind. Josiah, you and I can talk again sometime offline, anytime you'd like. Unless you're really here to support what I'm doing, I'm finding you to be kind of an interruption today. And were you able to hear me at all, Josiah?
What you're saying is exactly how my day has been, sir. I went to the Southwest Human Resource Agency and I offered them my website's like blueprint for redoing the community. It's like the universal access cards, man. We don't need money. We don't need to seek debt or any of that IOU stuff. We can like share resources. We need access to resources.
Right.
That's what I just shared my website with Southwest Human Resource Agency.
I know you're all about promoting your website, Josiah. You've been promoting your website since I've met you. This is peculiar. I'm really wondering what God wants me to do with this. I mean, Radio Guru, why would you assume the world would collapse if we were all honest and kind to each other? That's an absolutely ridiculous, ludicrous thing to offer. I mean, it lacks logic. It lacks facts. It lacks. Arpol, thank you, my friend. I surely appreciate what you offer. I really do. Actually, I'll save it. If anyone does want to see the Paul, I know you're not talking about me. And see, this is what I don't understand. Why do so many people show up and want to mischaracterize what is true? It's absolutely nuts. Hey, I did go to the city council meeting last night, but my frustrations carried with me. I think I was polite. I simply asked, what does it take to have a conversation with people? I've been asking that. How do I get conversations on my own live stream too? But praise God. This life we are living, brothers and sisters, my faith is in God completely. It really is. I know God is the truth. I know that the truth can only be really, truly known in the present. So I know that the only truth I need to be aligned with is the truth from my past, the truth of my present. And brothers and sisters, I don't know what's so hard to understand, considering my ideas came from inspirations from the Bible. The words of wisdom from the Bible allowed me to surrender my own ego so that I might do a better job of allowing the Spirit of Christ, the pure, holy, divine, which is within you. It's within us all, right? The holy, pure, divine Christ is here and now. It's eternal. It's within our vessel, but what prevents it is the limited mind, the chaos, and the confusion. So what I learned for myself, back to some of these things I offered again today, that which is repeatedly done, that which is done repeatedly becomes a habit. Well, if you create the habit for yourself to stop just for a minute, set the alarm, start out with 60 seconds. And then as time permits and your patience, your ability to drop in becomes more comfortable, start doing 2 minutes, then 5 minutes, then a half hour or 15 minutes, whatever it is for you to become whole. The ability to become whole, to become holy in the present, it's in your reach. It's in your grasp. It's a matter of surrender. Surrender to the truth. Stop fighting the truth. Stop fighting for partial truths. That's what the world is doing. It's partial truths that have created total confusion. The confusion, the fear, the greed, the selfishness, all of that stuff comes from a society that profits from trauma and immorality. So for all of these people, for those of you tuning in, if you identify yourself as a Christian, what are we doing? Why have we not demanded the truth be set free? Why are we continuing to select between liars to be representatives? I mean, we can change this entire world as soon as we unite, brothers and sisters, and I'm encouraging you. Let's unite. There's something I saw. Do you feel you've sought the whole objective truth, Jack? I have sought, yes. I can confidently say that I have sought to know the whole objective truth. I've intentionally, purposefully sought out opposing views of my ideas to see where are they right? Where are they right? And where could I be wrong? But since my words actually align with, and what I'm truly telling people to do is don't follow me, follow Jesus. If you can believe in Jesus, then you can know God for yourself. That's the whole point of the message, the good news, the glory, the gospel. It is that the answers are here. The answers are here. If you can trust what Jesus said and don't consider him a liar, don't consider me a liar. I mean, I'm telling you to go to him. So for people to be so oppositional to me, so critical to me, I know this can only be God's plan for me because these people are confused. Paul, Unslaved, you're one of the confused one. I saw you in the chat. I see you in the chat. Paul, you have an arrogance complex. The fact that you call yourself Christ-like when you're so egotistical and self-centered, brother, it really... No, Paul, that's you. You project and identify everyone else as losing and failing. You say it hours and hours every day, my brother. I mean, I don't mean to be disagreeable with you, but you're the one bringing disagreements. How you doing, brother?
How are you, sir? One would have to wonder why you would come to a person over and over again to use them and get what they have if they were so self-centered and egotistical.
I've explained that. Do you forget?
Right. Again, this is fascinating over here. And I'm the idiot again for submitting myself to this non-process.
Well, let's
go back. We can do it for a fact, right?
Well, let's go back to your first complaint. You want to paint the picture that you're not self-centered, and the evidence is, why would anyone keep coming back? Well,
why am I self-centered?
Have you heard yourself?
I didn't ask you to give me the platitudes and the deflections. I said give me specifics because we're going to make this real easy and quick. You won't have any.
Hey, Paul, this is the thing. It's not my case to get you to look
There
at your
you
own
go.
behavior.
More
Paul,
bullshit. More non-answers.
No.
The centric point of what I do is selfless.
Paul.
It gets me arrested over and over again.
Yeah,
it gets me in
That's
trouble.
what
It
you
gets me
say.
persecuted.
Yeah.
You don't. So let's get it clear. There's the power games.
Yeah.
Because you just don't want to face the truth.
Paul, no, I don't want to sit here and listen to your egoic tantrum as you once again push your way into the front to push everyone else down. Paul, we can have conversations as soon as you allow conversation.
Yeah, we can have conversations. Does that have to? Okay, so are you going to allow me to present before we have a conversation, or are we pigeonholed here and bound?
What do you present? See,
the
you
facts.
Want to present as
the facts.
Right. Why are you creating a case?
Oh, you don't want the facts.
Wrong. Hello, Daisy. Welcome.
Hello, Jack and Paul. I keep coming back because y'all don't need to be fighting with each other.
There's no fight, ma'am.
Okay.
Really?
Jack and the people attracted here are delusional and they're projecting constantly.
And there's your attack. There's no fight, but let me attack. Paul,
the point is everyone has something to, everyone has a set of gifts. Everyone, excuse me, has abilities, has.
How does that relate?
Well, to what you do, Paul, I've told you before, I respect very much when you speak on rights and freedoms, and it just comes out of you in the most natural way. You have no notes, you have no rehearsal, like you just talk from your heart, and you make
It's called living your information, something that's not done most times on these places.
No, actually, what it is.
And the other side of that is we're all different. We're all got different.
We could just get back to like one time on this horrible broadcast ever taking one idea through instead of Jack getting in his power games and throwing people out and deflecting.
Hey, Paul, if you actually paid attention, many thoughts come through, except when you're around.
Right. So the Christed being.
Paul, the only thing I've been asking you to do since we met was to look at your behavior. Nothing more, Paul.
I know, and that's the same thing.
Look, I know. You know what, Paul? As much as I love you, this is not your stream. You're not helping. You're not supporting. You're actually being, well, you're being quite foolish. There's another man in the back who I don't know if I should even entertain. What are you doing here, Stephen?
Hello, Jack. Thanks for the nice greeting.
Yeah, it's directly related, right? Cause and effect. Realize your part, Stephen.
Jack.
Why are you here, Stephen?
Jack. I'm here to give you another chance. I'm answering your fucking question. I'm here to give you another chance.
I don't want your chances. I don't like you. Yeah, I think you're worthless. So, welcome, Based. How are you today, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Feeling good.
What's up, Daisy? Good. We were just on together a little while ago.
Hey, I don't know how long you've been tuning in, but my haters will have plenty of complaints for me. I've got Paul in the back, and I just kicked Steven. So,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Do you have any desire to speak with Paul? I'm kind of done with him today. But it's up to you. If anyone thinks they can try and communicate with him, he only wants to argue with me.
Yeah, I think I can communicate with him.
I appreciate it.
What's up, Paul?
Willing.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed.
Very good. So, What would we like to resolve exactly? You don't like Jack. You think he doesn't like you. Is that kind
It's
of
not
your...
about liking.
Okay. So do you think he's a liar and you're telling the
Absolutely,
truth?
or delusional.
Okay. And why do you think that?
It's not about why I think that. It's about what the facts show, as he likes to speak about oftentimes.
Okay. What?
I've never known a man who thinks they're going to live in a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house and not pay for it long term. There's the first evidence of delusion.
Paul.
I've never, I mean,
Paul,
wait, I thought he's going to ask me for you can't control yourself, can you? You can't allow it to happen.
Paul, your narratives are delusional, Paul. See, this goes back to what I was saying before. Selective memory. The egoic wants to just ignore facts only so they can prove their case, and that's exactly what Mr. Paul Unslaved does. And Daisy, I love what you're offering. Yes, Paul, when he's speaking about rights, freedoms, and such, he flows. He does very well. I even misspoke and praised Paul when I dared break his rule for me, and I went and talked to that De Laguna lady. I actually mentioned that Paul he speaks the truth very well. And then I started realizing more. He's not speaking from the heart. He's speaking from emotion. He calls it passion. It's actually rage and insecurity, projecting his insecurities, calling everyone infidels and worthless. And so,
Jack,
sorry to interrupt.
Respectfully, you have to remember Paul is from New York.
So what?
It's a whole different...
Daisy, bullshit.
Everything differently.
Daisy, bullshit. I'm not going to sit here and have people making excuses for this ridiculous, unhealthy behavior that Paul...
Well, you will have it when you do it, though.
Paul, I'm not the one causing interruptions. You are.
I'm causing interruptions, or are you perceiving it as interruptions to your grift and lies?
Well, again, like you wanted to...
I can't force you to let me in here.
Hey, Paul, like you said, you don't think I'm a liar and deceiver. You claim, or delusional. You claim...
the post office, your wife, your child, and everyone who's interacted with you for an extended period of time thinks you're...
Appeal to opinion.
And power hungry. On top of it, liar, delusional, and power.
A man with boundaries who respects himself, and if you can't share the respect, then you can leave, Paul. It's pretty simple.
You don't respect yourself. If you did, you wouldn't be white as a ghost. You wouldn't look frail and ready to die. Your hairline wouldn't be receding. You wouldn't be not paying for your...
I wouldn't have you around. Paul is kicked. He's no longer here. Sorry, Based. I really didn't give you a fair chance, did I?
No, it's fine. Yeah, I was going to ask, I mean, he was talking about his example, the only one I think he brought up when I asked where you lied, is that you think. He says, well, Jack thinks. Well, for one thing, I don't know that your thought could be a lie. Also, you'd have a very difficult time proving somebody's thought. So I was going to move it to what words has he said, and I really don't know what he's referring to. I don't know what the issue is, but my experience with him is lent to what you have said, which is, yeah, I'll leave it at that. And what up, Denizen?
Yo, what up, playa?
Yo.
And Based. Sorry, yes, welcome, Denizen, and Based. You're probably the best one because you don't know, and you're honest and you're very attentive at communicating. So if you're willing, Paul has returned. I'm going to set myself in the back.
Okay.
And, please.
Cool. Oh, and we got Hank.
We've got Tommy in the back as well, but I'm not ready for both of that.
I was born ready. So Paul, I guess this is our chance to communicate here. So you said that Jack lied because he thinks something. And what I was going to ask you is, how do you know what he's thinking? I assume you're going to say, well, Jack has said XYZ, which is a lie.
I don't know why everyone here is either like patently obtuse or pretending to be. Jack has said many times that he's going to speak to Donald Trump and Congress to make them allies. He can't even get himself to city council with regularity and speak with consistency and conciseness.
That's false.
Like how many different layers of delusional do we have to go? I thought you were going to put yourself in the back and let us have it. You can't control yourself, life coach. Life coach should coach himself to have a better life and self-control.
You're a liar.
I'm not lying. You've said that.
You are. Yeah,
So you never said that.
I never said that I cannot make it to the city council meetings on a regular fashion. You're a fucking
No, that's
liar,
what I
Paul.
said. How about the part before that? The part where you said Donald Trump and Congress are going to be your allies.
Blah, blah, blah.
What? But look, Paul, I'm going to fly one day. Now, if I don't fly one day, it doesn't mean I didn't try to fly. But am I a liar for believing that I'm going to fly one day?
No, you're delusional. Let's get back to the first claim.
So were the Wright brothers delusional, Paul? Paul, were the Wright brothers delusional because nobody flew before they did?
Well,
people said they were delusional. So were those people similar to you?
Again,
were those people liars?
You're purposely being obtuse.
You're purposely being logical.
Obtuse.
All that.
It's equivalent to one person saying they've studied the environment.
I'm tired of listening to Paul. I really am.
Why is he so angry?
He's an angry man. Someone hurt him in his past, and he's never cared to find forgiveness.
Was it Tommy in the backstage?
I suspect it may be his father. That's why. There's clear daddy-father issues between him and me. But I'm learning how.
I have issues with both my parents.
Welcome, Illuma Tommy.
Based Oracle, you're actually the victim in this situation.
I appreciate it. Wait, what?
You're actually the victim.
El perro.
Shut the fuck up. I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to fucking leave. You are actually the victim in this situation because I've watched these guys for 2+ years juggle looking for people that don't know their very common situation. And both of them, Paul and Jack, are acting in the hopes that the new ears will take their side, when actually they're just a reflection of each other's narcissistic sociopathy. And it's all but said and done. I'm just putting it together better and better every time I review it. And everybody that's listening that would dare agree with me, you're the fucking fuel. You're the chat dopamine that allows this loop day after day. Now we've got autistic and special needs people buying into this bullshit, and their souls will not be on my hands. You're a fucking piece of shit, Jack. Paul, thank you for reviewing Loop Loops 3 and backpedaling through the whole thing, you fucking sociopath. I fucking win, and I'm just going to keep showing it. Praise God.
Wait, can you repeat that? Oh, shit. I missed the whole thing.
So to be totally obtuse, then that would mean, of course, agreeing with the same concept of based oracle. Our children being born into this world would have no hope of learning how to speak if not for having to have the help of other people to learn to do so. Same concept of anything else in life. Otherwise, we're left to our divergent nature to create our own world, whether it be our own language, our own devices, whatever it is. This is the inherent thing about our imagination, is nothing is not, or nothing is impossible. Isn't that what faith is? Is despite the fact that you've never seen anybody else do it before, you somehow know in your heart that it can be done, and you just may be the one to do it.
Yes.
Again, the Wright brothers, perfect example. Fuck being obtuse. It's the nature of life itself, you ignorant fuck. Why you think everybody else has to listen to your truth as if though you know what's going on now? Son, you ain't old enough yet.
And that's why I say truth is just a feeling, because people like those guys who seem to have the truth but they can't prove it.
Mostly,
They're not
yeah.
convincing. Yeah.
To the average person, and almost all the time, truth is just a feeling.
Yes.
I agree.
What is the point here, Jack?
Which one?
One of the people in my chat, they probably new to your stream, and I'm restreaming to them, so they have no familiarity.
It sounds, well, what I hope to do each day is share things I've been learning about spirituality, about self-development, about meditation, and most importantly, the purpose. I'm hoping people will receive what I'm offering, feel better about themselves, and maybe we can do something to make the world a better place. I know it seems far-fetched, but I can't see any reason why wars are still being funded and continued. Why have the masses who are not in zones of conflict, why have we not united to try and bring some safety and health to those people who are dying today? I mean, I thought about bringing up the news again. I mean, that's kind of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. I care. I care about this world. I care about people. I truly, truly care about peace. And so this is what I find to be so damn illogical, is Paul and many others, despite my honest and my many attempts at trying to explain myself, I've said often, there has been a lot of false accusations in my past. There's been a lot of misunderstandings in my past. I don't know why people behave the way they do, but for people to constantly oppose me and my ideas that we can help end wars, that's sad.
Yeah, so I actually do know. I've been researching this. So some people engage in something called power games. So they don't really care about your needs, your desires. They just want you to worship them and praise them. Pussy Paul's one of these people. He thinks he could just dominate the room and just do it over and over again for self-aggrandizement. His script is just saying some basic stuff about parking tickets and moving violations. I agree with him on that stuff, but still, it's not enough to make me to join a cult. That's ridiculous.
Well, I'd like to point out some of the destruction in the background there. These real people are dealing with. That man there, if I remember right, he was talking about how his mother, I think, or someone related to him had just left the room, and then they were attacked. So he got to drag out his nieces and nephews, 2 years old, out of the rubble. His children were lost. This is sick. This is happening while we're sitting around bullshitting and arguing with each other over Paul's fucking opinions of me. This saddens me. The state of the world, the destruction of war is no joke.
See, that's one of the things that disturbs me too. You know, just like many of these other supposed gurus out there, collecting all this money and shit to help people. How many people do they really help? And how many people can you really help if it seems to me, I don't know about others, but it seems to me that all day long, all you do is try to tear everybody down. I think that's delusional.
Agreed. But this is the world we live in. I don't judge anyone. I try not to. I really do try not to judge anyone. Why? Because it allows them the opportunity to be different. That's why I keep allowing and inviting, trying to make peace with Paul, as I have faith he can be different. And honestly, if Paul would realize it, he could become evidence for me.
Yes.
He can prove to others that I can make peace with people. Yes. He has that option. Thank you, Hank.
So I'm a little bit more pessimistic than Jack. So if I gave them an option like 10 or so times, I'll revert to their game because I know they understand their own game. So I'm a little bit more pessimistic, but I know what he's going for.
I've got Paul in the back arguing.
There's Steven, I think. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Steven's back there as well. I'm kind of done with both of them.
Oh, well, you have 5 other people to talk to still.
I know. You guys are much more pleasant.
If we can fix the panel verse, we might be able to help the rest of the world.
Swear to God,
how do we fix the panel verse? How do we do it?
Oh, you simply give the power to me. Just give the power to me.
Hank, no. No. See, this is the problem.
People give it to Jack instead.
Well, no, it's not a one-person thing. This is what's so ridiculous. Yes, my ideas sound crazy because Paul and others want to see me as alone. To some degree, I am alone. And it is crazy to believe that I can accomplish anything alone. But for 6 years, and here, praise God, for 6 years, I've been seeking someone like me, someone willing to advocate for the truth, not for a victory, but for the purpose of peace, so that the disagreements and the conflicts can be resolved. I mean, Paul's in the back here lambasting me because of my past, and I've been open about the fact that people in my life have avoided me for years. That's not my choice. Hey, Based.
Yeah.
Not to keep going to you, but Paul is still here. Hank is still here. Or not Hank, Stephen is here. And Stephen, you've offered me no reason to want you around. Sincerely. No reason. You put on a fake godly persona here, and then you go embrace the demonic forces. Well, Stephen and Paul, they're very similar in my opinion. They spend hours a day insulting and criticizing and putting others down. That's not healthy. And hey, if we want to change, the panel verse, if we want to change the world, let's see what we can do. Please.
I strongly disagree with you. I don't think Stephen and Paul are anything alike. I disagree with you.
Imagine if instead of focusing on changing the world in the panel verse, you loser broke failures who are cowardly focus on changing yourselves in your own life.
Apply
this. I am, say.
But Paul, you don't care because I'm retarded or something.
Paul, apply those words to you.
Isn't that truly the only thing you can change? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know that beast motherfucker that's been acting like a stupid motherfucking bitch all his life is me. Where the fuck do you get off proposing that you're going to change anybody else? You ignorant, narcissistic motherfucking.
Oh, I'm not. It's obvious I'm not, unless they're willing. I'm just here to hold up the mirror and watch you go crazy.
Why are you here? Exactly what I said earlier. You're not here to help anybody. You're here to.
No, I'm here to help those who want to be helped, who are willing to help themselves. That's not you and Jack. You're victims, and you're lazy and procrastinating, and you don't do shit all day every day.
That's why we're up here trying to find some kind of solution to.
You're up here trying to change other people to cope with not changing yourselves in your own failure life. That's your ego and arrogance. You don't have any results to point to, yet you're quite convinced you're going to change everyone else while not wanting to be changed.
I don't have any results. Of course I don't have any results.
I'm just here to hold up the mirror and watch you guys punch at the reflection. That's all I'm here to do. It's quite entertaining. It's quite entertaining.
El Perro, I put you in the back, please. I'm hoping not to turn this into arguments. And I'm hoping that maybe others will be willing to try and communicate. Paul, are you willing to communicate with anyone? And I don't mean argue. Are you willing to communicate and have a discussion?
You just muted me, so if you're going to mute me, unmute me. See, you only follow through with one aspect of your bullshit.
Quit whining. I muted El Perro too, so you're just playing these games. Please answer my question.
The presumption is I'm not willing to communicate. It's another assumption, presumption.
For your permission, because so far it has not been available.
That's gaslighting.
Paul, please consider my question instead of continuing to accuse.
It's passive-aggressive power games. I'm here and I'm willing to speak if you're willing to accept what's spoken.
Well, no, Paul. What we're trying to do here is be more mature. Okay?
Gaslighting, passive-aggressive.
That's what you're doing.
You don't get to decide what more mature or less is when you won't work for a living. It's laughable.
Oh, that means I do get to decide. Awesome.
Hank, please. Hank, Paul.
You're the furthest thing from a mature adult, Jack. I'd hate to break the news to you.
Facts are revealed.
You're not competent, capable, and you can't even care for yourself or your.
Why are you?
You're far from a mature, grown being.
Paul, I muted you because you're interrupting. Okay. The only thing.
Actually, you're interrupting.
The only thing I've been asking you to do, Paul, is to have a conversation and a discussion like an adult. Now, your little narratives of gaslighting and such, it's not helpful. There's obviously some past bitterness between Paul and I. Okay, so Hank, I'm going to ask you to step back too, please.
I'm not going to step off stage. You're not going to resolve this issue today. So I'm going to step off stage and let you continue through this loop. See you later.
It won't be long, but thank you, Hank. I understand. Based, Denizen, do you have, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it seems like they hate you. I mean, they're always, it seems like, trying to come on here to, apparently, from what I can tell, chastise you. I'm not saying that everyone in the backstage, whoever they all are at this point, are the same, but I've noticed some of that, and it's kind of interesting. A lot of times people hate and they move on, but they seem to hate but want to gravitate back to you.
They seem to revel in it. Like this is, and you and I have kind of talked about this a little bit, Jack, in the past, because I keep bringing it up. So forgive me again for bringing it up again. It's like, what is your mission? You know, what is your goal? What are you aiming for? Because a lot of the show just becomes dedicated to talking about all of Jack's flaws.
And I want to thank you, Jack, for putting me back and shutting me up. I don't want to be the angry old man. So sometimes I do need to be booted.
Word. Even when you're speaking facts, because you just might need a break. Yeah, so you gotta, like, I think Paul seems to be a very smart, insightful person. People have been bad mouthing him everywhere I go, and I haven't been able to figure out why yet. And I'm not about to change my mind as a result of what I just saw today. But it does seem weird that he's here, because what's the motivation there, Paul? Seriously. I can agree with your criticisms. I really can. But then how are you packaging yourself into that critique? Where's your place in that cycle that you're describing? Because you're here criticizing Jack for what reason? How does this help anyone? What does it accomplish? And where do your motives align with what you're doing on the panel here?
Do you want him to try? Do you want him to answer those?
It was kind of rhetorical. I don't think he will, but I'm. If you want to let him back up, in case he will, I don't think he will.
Here, and just for my own piece, I'm not sure what accusations of his you find credible. I'm interested in exploring that with you, but if you're willing, we can see if Paul. I agree with your assessment. What Paul is doing, in my opinion, is very egoic, very self-centered, and I've pointed him out. I've tried getting him to see his patterns of self-sabotage for a long time. That's what the ego does. I think a lot of people see his anger and his vitriol as the self-sabotage that it is. But he wants to, it's my opinion that Paul, and here, I'll give him a chance to answer for himself if he's willing, but it's my opinion Paul is here, like many others have been, to offer me sabotage.
Sabotage from what?
Success, happiness, peace, joy.
But I'm the narcissist, right?
Well, have you offered me other than sabotage?
What makes you believe that, again, you came to me to get more success? So how am I an impediment to your success? There's the fake yawn.
Look at your behavior.
Dude, you literally fake yawn like my father. You're one of the most narcissistic fake bitches I've ever met. Who fake yawns to indicate that to try to gaslight somebody off their position?
Paul, you're boring.
Fake yawning.
When you say like your father, Paul, do you think that that's the deeper connection? Is that maybe you're angry at your father?
Sir, you're not a psychologist here, and this.
No, I'm not. It doesn't take one.
Neither are you. Will you let me answer?
Neither are you.
You guys aren't breaking ground here with making connections that are obvious.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yes, there's always an overlay and reflection to creation. So every relationship reflects every relationship on some level.
Right. So why are you taking out your bullshit onto me?
Again, the presumption is I'm taking out what has been done with me and my father on you.
Why are you here, Paul? What are you doing here?
You just
again,
agreed,
you guys to the right
Nail on the head.
You guys surrounding Mr. Talcott have literally zero care for the experience of his son and his wife. You'd rather enable his bullshit than actually.
It's also a deflection. He won't answer the question. Sorry, Jack.
Yeah, right. Excuse me real quick, Jack, but I just made it a point the other day, did I not, that you and I are a very similar situation where we have children that refuse to speak with us. We go about it in different ways. But that's the diversity where we're not supposed to fall into the ego narcissistic pattern.
So I know I'm not a psychologist, as what's his name?
Paul.
Whatever is Paul, right? As he pointed out, but it's not that difficult to see some of the connections. And for whatever reason, he's so angry, that vitriol seems to be coming out on you. And what I wanted to ask him, I don't know that he would answer even if he was here, is how in the world he knows the mind state right now, this moment, or even today, last week, of the people in your family, Jack. It makes no sense, nor does he, I would think, know whatever the underlying reason is that it may be like that, or what efforts you have taken. And I'm not trying to make any side for you or against him. I'm just pointing out what I see.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Please. He makes sense and he has a point until he comes up on this panel. Then he reveals himself. And what that is, I would not claim to know. But the math of that doesn't change. I don't have to be a psychologist, right? He would otherwise not be on this panel. He would be going and doing and accomplishing the things that makes him better than us.
If that was true, that's what he'd be doing. And thank you. The searching for the truth. That's really how conflicts and disagreements are ended. So I truly appreciate that. And I know that this is the answer. Here, we don't know why it's behaving, what the underlying cause within him is that's bringing forth the aggression and stuff. And yet we do. You don't have to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist to see egoic behavior, egoic delusions, self-grandizing, God of all media, and living as the only righteous one in a world filled with infidels and slaves. It's a delusion. The world is filled with characters like this. People who think they're experts on everyone. And when I put him to the back, what I had heard him say was an accusation at the rest of you here, that he claims to know that none of you have any care whatsoever for my son or myself. And yet I see your humanity. I feel your care, the presence, and you care for the truth. What Paul is doing is, it's basic, egoic nonsense that can be healed and cured simply by him changing his mind. But he's the one who controls himself.
Greetings, New York native.
And
yes, thank you. Greetings, New York.
God, Tarek, you've been patient. I left you in the back because you've in the past had patterns of trying to pick a side. So thank you for your patience if you're still there.
Oh, of course I am. I'm just here listening. I'm just here listening, Jack.
Thank you.
I saw everybody. So I made some comments in the chat. Nothing against no one. Nothing against you. Just saying my piece, and that's all. But I'll listen and go from there, and I'll chime in when I feel like I have to.
So, according to Paul, I guess my behavior here, what he says is keep showing why your sons and wives won't deal with you. And
yeah.
Paul, oh my God,
that's pretty deliberate. Paul. He's right though that like he should be. He won't. If he's not going to let someone else talk, then he might need to sit backstage while others talk. But he should be allowed to have the floor to himself too. If he's being talked about.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is one thing that I really agree, Jack. Like Denizen, I don't agree with everything he said, but he is fair. Base Oracle has intuition. He can see through people and stuff like that. So that's why I'm here. I'm trying to understand that. I hope, just trying to understand their perspective. That's all. And Wizard is always angry, so hopefully he'll get better.
What's your motivation right now, Jack? We asked Paul, he wouldn't answer. And I don't mean your overall general mission, because I think I understand that rather well. Right now, even if you're not at your best, what is what's driving you? What's your motivation?
I'm trying to put the pieces of my life together. I'm a man just like everyone else. I've shared my story. Yes, my life fell apart completely. I don't know that I should be judged and blamed and insulted and attacked because of what happened in the past. I mean, just like everyone else, I'm trying to find a way to how to survive in this corrupt and immoral society that doesn't give a shit about anyone. Everyone's on their own, right? And while I'm at this point, I haven't conceded my goals and my faith to go get me a job, right? Because I have faith and belief that I can become a success with my investments in my education and otherwise. So I'm still focused on a success for me. But, when you're trying to build a business, trying to start in a new direction, it's really fucking tough, especially if people aren't willing to even give you a chance.
I agree.
I have similar experience. Would you say then even let's say there might be a negative connotation that should be discarded, but that you're defensive right now, rightfully so?
To some degree, yes, because faith is something I've been trying to focus on, trying to grow, and trying to explain and share all at the same time. My faith came because it was either end myself, go crazy, start drinking again, or accept the cards that life has dealt me, right? And that's what I've done. I've accepted my life. I've started my life over without my family, without my friends, without the old career and all of that stuff. I'm starting my life over. I really, truly, I don't understand why it's been so challenging for me to get people to want to work with me.
I might be able to give a little insight into, well, kind of going back a little bit, but with this same topic. So when you talk about faith, I would almost look at what you just experienced with, let's say, Paul and Tommy as a testing of your faith. Because although you say you have faith now, when people like that come into the picture, kind of spewing hate at you and shitting on your aspirations, that is part of the test. So in a way, you could look at it that they are here or, come in and out in order to be a benefit to you in terms of hardening you. Right, yeah. So with that said, some of the things that were pointed out, I kind of look at it like this, is it seems to me that you want to build community around what you perceive, and I seem to agree, is good and right, the truth, and, pushing back on evil. And it sounds like, some aspirations to make a political influence. And with that said, it seems like they are shitting on you. One of the things that came out of Paul's mouth was something about you think you're a liar because you think that you're going to, talk to Trump or whatever it is. And I don't think there's anything wrong if that is something that you want to do to aspire to. And I certainly don't see how that would make anyone a liar. But again, it seems to me that you're putting out to the best of your ability what's true to you with no gimmick. You're pretty expressive about how you see things and what you want in the world, yourself, people. And unfortunately, most people don't seem to like that in terms of it's almost like they want to be lied to. They want they want to be under some kind of delusion. They want to be in a cult that they don't really understand they're in a cult. And you're out here being very overt. And, people are affected by that in ways that you just saw. I don't mean all people. I just mean some of these people are going to come and attack you for being so outright.
And honestly, sorry, Based, real quick, if I could. I would say that in the ways in which they despise Jack, it's what they see in themselves in a reflection. Whether it's there or not to say Jack's perfect, he doesn't make that claim. Sorry, go ahead, Based.
No, I agree with you, and I was pretty much done. Just saying that most people don't want the truth, and when you give it to them, it feels like a slap in the face. So ironically, Paul talking about he's up here being a mirror, but it seems more so that he's just kind of being himself. He's mirroring his own problems off on you rather than, I haven't seen any offering to help you, not saying that he necessarily should or needs to, but I don't see anything constructive within what he was saying.
I agree.
But I'm sorry, Jack. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to let Hank jump in.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
So one thing I want you to understand and internalize is we don't have to win over all our haters. We can let them hate from a distance, let them hate up close. We can know what they're gonna say, but we don't need to win them all over. We can get the job done without all of their help.
It's going to depend on what Jack's motivated to do, though. If he's trying to reach out to these people, this is what the work looks like.
So if he is determined to win over all the haters, it's beyond my power. I'm sorry, I can't win them all over. That's really nothing I could do.
Sure can. Yeah, you sure can. But here's my question to Base, because I do believe he's got great intuition and he sees through people. But in the same time, I don't think he understands or knows the lore of Jack and Paul for 2 years.
Hey, Tarek, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so
the lore is
not. It does matter to Jack.
No,
Jack,
Tarek. No, Tarek. It matters to you.
No, it doesn't matter to me. You're showing
then
right
why are
now,
you bringing
Jack,
it up? Why are you bringing up the lore?
I'm going to explain to you why I bring it up, and I'll show your anger and how you manipulate. As soon as I said that, you interrupted me because you don't want me to put the message.
No, Tarek, just like Paul, I'm really sick of you. Okay? You run around, I just got an opinion, and you're picking sides and telling everyone what they've got wrong. Tarek, let me come back to the conversation, what I heard from Based. You pointed out that these people are tests. Yes, I have accepted that. For those who do know the lore, my first version of Paul was Margot Davey. Online with flying monkeys, harassing me online, publicly, privately. Paul doesn't harass me privately, but Margot did. I finally came to realize that, yeah, this is part of my refinement process. For people who have been tuned in with me for a while, since I've met Paul, they've seen my growth. And admittedly, Paul and Tarek, when I get these people constantly interrupting, constantly accusing me, yep, my faith is, and I don't show Christ-like, I get sick of it. But I have been improving. Paul, I have learned through Paul about myself, and I've been really looking forward to returning the favor for him. Paul needs to recognize who the fuck he is and what he's doing, because he ain't the God of all media. He ain't the only one standing up for rights, freedoms. And as a matter of fact, I said this elsewhere on his panel, there's a hell of a lot of people doing a hell of a lot more than him and me. So for me to be subjected to this bullshit from a little punk-ass coward like Paul, wow, I lost sight of the Christ in me there for a bit, didn't I?
No, you didn't lose sight of Christ. Christ would do this thing. Christ would probably set him on fire and send him to hell. Keep going.
Shiva's in the back?
Yes. Welcome back, Shiva.
Lord Shiva.
Welcome back.
Hello. Am I edible to you?
You are edible.
Yes.
How's it going? I've just been listening for a quarter of an hour or so, 10, 15 minutes. I thought I'd offer my perspective, if that's all right. Because I've got haters. I've got people who really intensely dislike me, partly because they're dicks and partly because I'm a dick. But what I found was that, and maybe this is just a flaw in me, but I found that there was no way really to win them over, because you can't reach people who don't want to be reached, and attempting to do so is a waste of energy. And so what I did was I just ignored them. So whenever they would go live about me, which they used to, people would DM me links and say, hey, so and so is going live about you, and I just wouldn't watch. My response was, good for them, they're free to say whatever they wish. I wouldn't watch, wouldn't engage, didn't know what was being said about me, and I've been a lot happier for it.
Yeah,
I totally agree with pretty much everything that you said there, Shiva. I mean, that's really good insight, and I've noticed the same with me. I mean, it actually sounds very similar. I've had, I don't know how many videos made about me that I don't bother watching. I really don't give a fuck. With that said, one point I just wanted to make is that
damn it. His internet dropped out.
That one point disappeared on us.
Yeah. I have no idea what my haters say about me.
Yeah, so I managed to de-escalate my haters because I kind of like when the new insults drop. But since they know I like it, they just don't want to share with me, so... Oh, well.
I mean, what I found was that once I stopped reacting, once I stopped feeding them and giving them what they wanted, they became less interested in trying to trigger an emotional response in me. Because they're not getting what they want, right?
You're right. Good points.
You know, the haters thing. When I started this online stuff, stepping out into YouTube, at first I was nervous about it. You know, a lot of insecurities about speaking on a camera or being online, and I was not prepared. I had no clue about the trolls and the haters and all this bullshit that would be so unproductive. Here's the reality. You know, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to figure out what to do. I've got a lot of ideas of how I can put my life back together, pick up the pieces of my past, or even try to achieve some crazy things. But none of us rise on our own. And this is what I'm trying to get the world to realize regarding the political stages. The corruption has risen by the choices of the masses. Everyone going along with their... What's that?
No, the corruption has risen by the choices of individuals.
Correct.
I kind of have issues when people talk about society as if it's a thing that has a consciousness that can make decisions. Society is composed of individuals making individual choices.
Correct. And so when I'm pointing at the society, I'm pointing to the individuals that create the society. The individuals have chosen to enable, collectively, by the agreement of their neighbors and their families. We've got obvious corruption in America and the whole world.
And if I might say here real quicker on that point, the individual, you know, that's the thing about get to know thyself. And it seems to me a lot of people think all of a sudden at one point in time in their life they get to know themselves, and that's the end all be all, and they don't have to worry about it the rest of their life. They know themselves without comprehending that man is a diverse creature and we are meant to adopt and adapt. And this goes to the society thing. If you come upon a society and you think you will fit in, you have to learn how to adapt their behaviors and change. So you have to learn a new aspect of yourself. So at all times, you have to know thyself. And so again, I'm going to close out with this, and then I'm going to head out. Appreciate you having me up. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know that that is me. If other people, if I go along and other people can adopt and adapt my behaviors, or vice versa, it's done for the purpose of becoming a better man. If you come to a point in life that you think you have nothing that can improve upon you, you are the narcissist. Have a good day. Remember, I love you.
Peace.
Blessings.
I know what people are saying. I too love when someone gets teared down for wrong decisions they made, but I want to focus on solving problems here. That's what I enjoy some of the people who come on to tear you down, but after the second time, it's not productive anymore. I like to fix things. So that's just me.
Here, there was this question I brought up for a moment. It caught my mind. Are you ready to defend and or fight for your rights and freedoms that were given to you by God? How do you not know the answer to that question? The rights and freedoms given to us by God were the opportunity to be free and to know the truth. My entire purpose is to create a world that honors the truth, not opinions, not celebrities, not authorities. A world of truth. And here, what changes our lives is when we humble ourselves to what is true. When we humble ourselves to what is true, we no longer have to fight. It's as simple as that. So, yes, I intend to fight for the entire world if given the opportunity. Who I am, I'm a man just like many of the others who've been up here, except I truly take actions to follow through with my words. I am an advocate for the truth. I will fight for justice anywhere at any time for anyone. I believe in those things. I believe in justice, fairness, honesty. I truly believe in love. So, Tarek, your little importance of the lore between Paulie and I, which you're not really helping bring resolve. And this is what I like about what Hank said. If we focus on solutions, guess what? There's less time wasted on problems. If we have clarity in our goals and clarity on who we are, well, then we don't need to fight and compete with each other. Paul is still in the back. I'm kind of, I don't know what to do. He doesn't know any different options. So, Paul,
what do you want, Jack?
I can wait in the back all day. I'm actually paid to be here, so.
Right. So, what is your purpose here?
Whatever I guess I choose and you choose. If we can find a middle ground on that, that's usually how it works, huh?
Well, I'd love to have some participation in what you choose to do with my time.
All right, here I am participating.
All right. So what can we discuss without arguing?
I don't know. Argue means to make the facts clear and presently known, and obviously you're not a fan of that, so.
Well, I know you say that, but here, this is what I know.
Here's where you quote yourself for where you're going to cite the, okay. That's like not narcissistic at all. Quoting yourself to establish a fact.
Hello. Sharing truth. Do you have a problem with the words you see? Arrogant people argue.
Sort of, yeah.
How do you disagree with that?
I don't presume that arrogant people argue. Argue means to make the facts clear and presently known. Honest people do that.
Okay, so what's the
honest people don't? You just
argue?
wait. So okay, cut off again.
Well, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You
but
seem to do a lot of things you don't mean to do.
Hello, right? You're not really answering my question, though.
I was answering it. You didn't let me answer it. You're gaslighting me and playing power games.
Okay.
Let's slow down a little bit.
This is why your son and wife won't deal with you, because you're a gaslighting power gamer. It's real simple. If you want them back, I can help you. If you want them back, I can help.
No, you can't. You're only here for power games. You don't want to talk. You come back to antagonize Jack specifically, so he can't help you. He can't help you, Jack.
Actually, he could. He could if he chose to. But I'm not going to sit here and listen to Paul tell me that he knows people from my life and what they think, because he's lying. That's a lie, Paul. I'm not going to tolerate lies.
Oh, so I'm lying now.
Yes.
You're not the liar, but I am. Okay, we're not equally delusional.
Yes. I pointed out
just
the
settle on
lie.
us equally being.
I pointed out the lie that I'm not going to accept. You can stop your arguments.
This is so much fun. Watching you call me a narcissist and gaslight and do narcissism. It's fucking great.
I know, it's so great. So back
you could just see this on your show, Paul.
Is there a reason your retarded defense counsel keeps hollering out?
Back to the topic. Under my experience, I know you might find disagreement simply because these words came from me, but back to your disagreement. You said that argument is the unfoldment of facts, whatever.
Whatever, right? Who cares? Let's just cite ourselves.
I care.
What is your distinction, Paul, between argue and discuss?
I don't have one. You do.
You
said we're here to discuss, but you won't argue with me. And I was pointing out they're pretty much the same thing, but you want to make a distinction so you can play power games and bind me with some hidden, unseen rule.
Hello, Mr.
You're emulating.
Mr. Wordman. You're not going to continue over speaking me and acting like such a out of control punk, Paul. If you can't humble yourself,
So you are playing power games. You're putting me in the back.
No, I'm establishing.
Why is he so angry right now?
Because he's a little bitter, unhealed child. He's like a 13-year-old or a 12-year-old.
I mean, do you mean the way that we all are?
He is unhealed. He is broken. And here's what's funny. Here is what's funny. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Paul earlier was talking about Barabbas. What's the name? When Jesus was turned over to the
Barabbas.
Barabbas.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's my theory, and I've pointed it out. I am devoted to trying to become more like Christ. I'm devoted to following the way of truth and love. And I've mentioned that there could be some similarities to my story and to that of Jesus that people haven't even bothered to investigate or look at to see if I'm right.
Well, have you been resurrected?
Well, I was wrongfully terminated, and I'm still waiting for the day for me to be seen again as who I am instead of the clown that everyone's been painting me out to be, because I am a good man. And I find it quite interesting. Paul's right in many of his comparisons. He was in the back showing me his bank account, how fucking wealthy he is. Hey, Paul, that ain't that much money. I mean, good for you. I'm proud of you. But, dude, come on.
Time to pay up on tout stock, pussy Paul. Time to pay up on tout stock.
No, we have had so many crazy interactions, and it's unfortunate Paul hasn't gone back to see what the truth is. But here's what I see. Paul and I are living the exact same life, very much so. He and I were mirrors, right? In the past, many things he lived, I lived differently. We're the same as many others. And then the distinction, though, is it seems the crowds, they've sure been supporting someone like Paul who wants to go to war, wants to fight.
Of course, Jack. Come on.
Well,
look at the context that we're in. It's a context that thrives on conflict. That's what a lot of people like watching. That's why drama is so popular.
Well, Shiva, this is what I mean, though. This is the repeat of the choice. People are choosing the violence.
I think.
Right, but you're choosing as well.
So
I think we're crabs in a bucket, and that this is the people who like drama and conflict are holding us here. There's not that many of them, and we just need to, kick them off the side of the ship and let them float out into sea and sail on to better weather.
So Jack, what you don't understand is that Paul really doesn't want conflict. He's just posturing. If he wants actual conflict, I'm willing to oblige him, but he doesn't want anything to do with me. Not virtually, not physically, not conversation. He doesn't actually want conflict. He's posturing so he can avoid it.
Well, I was going to ask him, is it okay if I ask Paul a question, Jack?
Yeah. Sure.
Paul, if you aren't mad, what is motivating you to be so verbally combative? You have to try to get as much out as possible. Is that what it is? Like, why overtalk Jack? Why not wait for an answer? Why not actually move from what Jack means when he says argue over to what Jack means when he says discuss, rather than nail him on the semantics?
Again, the presumption is that I'm angry because I care about truth and words and terms and definitions and being right or accurate.
Well, I'm saying, explain why are you motivated to do it?
The presumption by all of you is that it's anger because I have a care for truth, and it's frustrating dealing with so many non-caring.
All of us.
Oh, okay. You're frustrated.
Okay.
You're frustrated. Okay, there we go. We're getting on to something.
Right. It's frustrating when you...
I don't know who you are, mate.
I don't know who you are either. I can't talk to 3 or 4 people at once.
I understand why you're frustrated.
You're not very bright people is what it is, and you always masquerade as if you're so intelligent, intellectual, and aware. You're not.
That's you. You lack.
Again, I'm on record. Would you like to do the test? Would you like to do the test and compare results? Of course not. You're not interested.
Yes, let's do
lack awareness, Paul. You're fucking proving it. You failed the test, right?
You're jumping all over me. You're gaslighting me. You're projecting and
then go away. You're obviously not comfortable here. You're quite frustrated. You deny that you've got any anger, but dude, you're behaving like a child, Paul.
May I complete where I was going with that? Because he really did answer my question. He's not angry. He's frustrated. Okay, fine. Yes, I agree. You're frustrated. It shows. So if you actually cared more about your ego or more about the truth than you do about your ego, you would be less frustrated inherently. And I say that as someone who's guilty of it himself, because it's plain to see. It's,
That is, and that's very true. Once it's seen, once you do see that when you humble yourself to what is true, you find a lot less frustrations and fights. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I've been growing in that in myself a lot. But Paul, the frustration and the energies you carry, they're not healthy for you or anyone else, brother. Okay? I'm trying to be caring. I really am. I don't want to fight you.
Okay.
And I'm not fighting against the truth.
Do you find it fascinating that while you guys have this critique that you never actually de-escalate, you actually escalate in every way? Fake yawn.
Well, in this present moment, there was clear, calm communication.
Do you guys think that when you because I'm curious what you think ego is. Like, we keep throwing this word around ego, but we never get any clarification. you guys
I've
think?
explained it a lot.
I mean, I can tell you what I think ego is.
Right.
But
do you guys think that you're perceived as weak men?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, then
By
that's
you?
all that I need to know.
Right.
Is that the same as asking if we are weak men?
Perceived? I would say
I'm
yes.
saying in certain venues, in
Right.
certain situations, if we were to use judgment, which you're also scared of, do you think you'd be perceived as weak, unresolved men?
I like being underestimated.
Absolutely.
It makes the conflicts much easier for me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right. and you know what? Perceptions are only part of the story, Paul. You know that.
If I asked your women and children, do they perceive you as disrespectable, weak, unresolved men? What do you think the answer would be?
Hey, Paul.
The women in my life look up to me.
Look to facts. Why don't we look to facts? Do you want to know stuff about my past? Do you want to know what proves that I'm not fucking weak? Or do you want to just keep playing your games?
And how
there's no game. I'm just again. I can't seem to express my experience or perspective without being attacked or ganged up on while you say I'm attacking.
Paul.
I mean, that is a fair point that he's making.
I know. I usually do make fair points if you'd let me.
Can I ask, how are we defining strength and weakness in this context?
I wasn't defining it specifically. I was just saying that if we were to go to certain venues where respect is paramount, where care for certain values are on,
Let him go, Jack. Let him, Jack.
Keep cutting me off.
Jack, let him go. Let him go, Jack. You got this.
How
You
does
got
someone
this, Jack.
not get frustrated when they keep getting gaslit, projected on, thrown out, and cut off? This is such an obvious game you're all playing.
Right.
Well, hang on. No, Jack, be fair. He is actually trying to communicate with us, and dropping him down.
Yes, he is now. He is now. Yes.
Oh, so you guys are the arbiters of my energy, and when I'm actually trying to communicate and not, you're arrogant.
It's clear.
You're arrogant.
Right, but the guy who thinks there's no difference between argument and discussion isn't arrogant.
I've been here for the past months.
You know exactly what the facts are.
And honorably and honestly.
And now you're going to make it about us while we're trying to help you talk. But he's not playing a game, ladies and gentlemen, because you're not interested in talking.
Well, then
you're the one escalating. Yes, I told you. I told Jack to shut up on his own panel so you could talk, you fucking liar. Nobody's buying your fucking bullshit here. All right? You're not smarter than us.
And also, to be fair, I did state on more than once in the last 5 minutes that the point you just made was fair. Come on.
Both of us did. That's what we were doing while you were accusing us of escalating.
This is what I've been dealing with since I met him.
Yeah, but Jack, you're engaging.
Okay.
So it's partly your responsibility too, right? Because you're choosing to engage.
I'm choosing. You're right. I'm trying to resist the urge to engage because I really, really, really do want peace. I would love for one argument against me to end. One person who's chosen to see me as a fucking victim and someone to be beat up on and mocked and ridiculed. Paul has been disrespecting me over 2 years now publicly.
Right. But
look, I'm sorry if I
want the argument to end. It seems to me that what you don't want is the argument to end, because you could end it right now. By not engaging. What you want is for Paul to change his mind about you.
Yes.
That's what it seems like.
Yes.
And I could be wrong because I don't know you very well, but
you're accurate. I'm trying to.
That's the sense that I'm getting.
I think I see what you're saying. If I want Paul's mind to change about me, then I need to show him less engagement.
No. Oh, look, if you want to change someone's mind about you, right, what you need to do is to change your behavior so that you are behaving in a way that they respect. That's the only way.
Shiva, believe me, that is what I've been doing. And for Paul to continue to find no reasons to respect me, that's not on me. And so I wanted to point out too Paul's hypocrisy. He said here, and we accepted his words, that he's a man of truth. He cares only about the truth. Yet where was the first thing he went? Perceptions and opinions. Jack, if you go after other people, what's that?
He's frustrated, and I'm going to be honest. I understand completely how he feels, because I get frustrated when people won't let me speak and they drop me to the basement and they kind of keep talking. I mean, it's very annoying, right? Like,
right.
So, like, just on the basis of a human being, like, I understand how someone could get frustrated if they feel like they're not being heard or listened to. But it's like it's easy to end a conflict. You just don't engage with the conflict.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jack,
all you had to do there was just sit back for a little while, Jack, and it had been good for you, because nobody in the audience who believes these bad things about you is going to change their mind based upon something Paul says in this 90-second space. But he revealed himself because he's the one playing games. When we tried to moderate it so that he would be allowed to speak, he was more interested in attacking the psyche of two strangers than he was in just expressing himself, answering any of the questions that were raised, giving his side of the story that he was deliberately and specifically asked for.
Tell you what, I've listened. I hope maybe Paul was paying attention. I would like to bring him back up, and I will, if you see me doing poorly, please point it out. I'll correct myself.
Before you let him up, he's going to attempt to escalate. So you're going to have to, we'll all have to do our best not to engage him on the deliberateness. And then let's see if he's even capable of having a conversation after he's done with what he does deliberately.
Yeah, before you bring him back up, I want to point out that both you and Paul seem to be very frustrated with this conversation, but me, Dennison, and Shiva don't seem to have much of an issue. So it's mostly both of you. I'm actually enjoying this conversation, but you and Paul seem to be very frustrated.
There's a reason for that. You don't care. You don't care about the outcome of Paul and I actually do, and I actually think Paul might as well.
Sorry, are you speaking for all of us? Are you psychic, Jack? Can you read our minds?
I was speaking to Hank.
Okay.
Based on my interpretations of past experiences. But Paul,
I'm also capable of, like, if we're going to play the emotion thing, right? I'm capable of holding more than one emotion if we're going to classify it as that at a time. So I'm more than capable of being frustrated, not getting what I want or my way, and also reconciling that this is what we've done here over and over again for the longest time. So you'd have to learn to have fun with it. If not, you'd be like empirically insane. We're riding the line here between insanity and having fun with our insanity. Right? So I guess the only difference there is awareness of self and the patterns. So
yeah, self-awareness is vital to any sort of growth or, you know, humanity, to be honest, I think.
It's also fascinating how this guy down there has no problem playing a mind reader for everyone else till someone plays it with him. Then he says it's impossible. So more hypocrisy. But I love that.
Who are you calling a mind reader? Me?
No. The other guy.
Dennison. It was me who brought up the mind
He's been
reading.
hypocritical like 2 or 3 times this broadcast, and he can't even see how. But I think it's great.
So
I mean, we're all hypocritical, though, right? Like, I can be a hypocrite sometimes.
In a sense, at times, I'm sure. I'm not saying that I'm completely exempt from that dynamic. I'm just saying to do it so freely and openly and consistently while claiming it's everyone else, that's the lack of self-awareness.
So, Paul, can I ask you, what would you classify as ego?
I think there's kind of different aspects to this. I think there's more of a bodily identified worldly ego that tries to keep the body safe or secure and just survive. And then I think there's like what's been called a super ego, which is kind of like a merging with a higher self, where you still do the things you need to do to survive, but there's more of a purpose or a meaning or a value on a macro level with what you conduct or comport with, right? If that makes sense. So I don't necessarily claim that all ego is like bad ego. I think there has to be some sense of self and self-worth and self-value aligned with some objective inherent power or value system.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, I kind of understand, and I kind of agree with most of that. I think from my perspective, and I admit I come from a very particular perspective, I tend to class the ego as an illusory personality identity that we try to protect.
I'd accept that false self.
Yeah.
I've probably used it in that senses at times to indicate a false persona.
I'm not using it in a kind of technical psychiatric sense where I guess it has a very specific meaning in that context, you know. So I'm using it
Shiva,
much more
I've even admitted to in the past creating a persona known as Paul Enslaved that I believe is archetypal. It's not even created. I became aware of an archetypal beingness that I guess named Paul Enslaved that I've attempted to embody. So that to me is in essence what I would call that super ego, where I think all men and women at some point can become aware of an archetypal state of beingness and then start to create or form themselves or practice being at one with that beingness. Now, whether or not we achieve that or not, I guess, is back to self-awareness and objectivity.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's interesting. I'm not sure that I would classify self-awareness as objective. I think it's an inherently subjective experience. But
I'm saying as much as possible, being able to separate your awareness of self from being in the body here now, sort of pulling back and having a third party awareness of self, sort of like a God's eye view of yourself. If again, easier said than done, I guess, but at times I guess can be achieved.
So Denizen asked a question a couple of times, and it's a sort of question that I often like to ask people, or at least a very similar sort of question. And I think he phrased it as like why are you here? What's your what's your raison d'etre for being on this panel?
I think it's multifaceted. I think there's an aspect of selfishness and self-indulgence. I think there's an aspect of just caring about truth. There's an aspect of being fascinated and amazed at how many times I could come in here, it could go the same way, and we could literally not choose a different perspective or a different approach. Like Jack's about to do it right now. He's seething and he just can't contain himself. And any moment now, he's going to make this about his ego and this being his broadcast, and he didn't get to talk enough. And
actually, if you can just give me a moment here without the false narrative, we've got an Upstate auditor in the back. Been patiently Upstate.
Can you see him?
Maybe.
Yes, I do.
He has glasses and a goatee.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yo, what's up, brother?
Mistake, Jack. I just want to admit to that.
Man, I'm loving this shit.
I was watching you over there, and it did look like you were kind of fuming a little bit. So if I projected that onto you, that's my mistake.
Thank you.
And is that something that you're prone to sometimes, Paul?
Again, I guess it's possible, but I'm looking at Jack, and he has furrowed brows, and he was kind of looking around and breathing, and I'm almost forced to assume and presume unless I'm given more data.
Well, there's another one in the back here. Liz, Anya. Liz?
No idea.
I don't know her.
Make me a cup of tea.
All
right, kick him.
Hey, Fab Daddy.
Oh, they're just doing that until they kick him. Yeah.
Is that a farm animal? Is that one of those furries?
He's not really a troll. That's Prime. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, don't have Prime on your panel. You can't.
If it's eating or smoking weed, it's definitely an animal.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt the conversations there, but
now the trolls aren't going to like this, right? Because we're actually discussing things like men. So prepare for the barrage. You know.
Yeah, there's a couple in the chat right now, isn't there?
You're full of trolls. I mean, I'm a moderator. You just go away.
I do have a question, though. I mean, the past has been what it is. What prevents change? That's the topic of the video today, right?
Past is a learning experience, not a life sentence.
Right.
I think for me, the question would be, what is it within us that prevents change? Like, what I'm like, if I'm in a contentious situation with someone, the way that it often gets resolved is when I start asking myself, what am I bringing to the situation that's making the situation worse? And what can I do to make the situation better? You know, whether that's conceding a point or seeing the other person's point of view, or even just withdrawing from the situation altogether, right? And I think quite often it's a lot easier to get hung up on what the other person is doing to make the situation worse, rather than what we ourselves are doing to make the situation worse.
It's easy to do that. That's what the ego does. And I missed the definition that was offered. For me, what I've identified the ego as is the patterns of beliefs. It's the thought patterns of who we believe we are. But who we believe we are is irrelevant if it doesn't match who we are. And who we are is what we share with each other.
Well, you are what you turn your mind towards.
I am a lot of weed, I'll tell you. I smoke the shit out of it.
Well, the ego mind is the one that creates all the limitations. The spirit of us, the heart of us, is connected, and we can align ourselves with the infinite. And I respect what you said, Shiva. If we keep encountering patterns and problems, it really is upon ourselves to look at ourselves. Why? Why am I still entertaining this? Why am I creating it? Why am I engaging in it? We're all growing. We're all growing together. I think what prevents change, honestly, it's our insecurities. For me, what prevented my change, truthfully, was my lack of self-worth that I carried within myself. I didn't believe I was worthy of feeling good or being happy or healthy. And as a result, those patterns of thought in my old identity, I created that life. I created a life where I really was unworthy of respect and love and happiness and all that stuff. But somehow I used to receive it.
Is that what you're looking for? Love, respect, and happiness?
We all are.
I mean, no, I'm not. I don't care. I don't require people to respect me.
Self-respect, though.
I like it in my personal relationships, but I don't know if I need it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think if you treat people well, they are going to respect you, and I try to treat people well. Yeah, but I think when we start requiring other people to respect us, that's another aspect of this egoic kind of preservation of an identity that we have.
Isn't respect earned, not given?
Yes. Well, both.
Hey,
I mean, you
gotta
have to
give a
earn
little
it,
to get a little.
We're gonna loop. Here we go.
The only way that you can get people to respect you is to act in a way that they find admirable. I mean, it's the only way. Right.
Well, yes and no. I mean, because there's no denying that people won't respect what they don't appreciate. And if you don't offer forth a being that can be appreciated, you're not going to get respect. The same thing goes, though, if you don't respect yourself or the others around you, you're not going to show yourself as respectable. And I lost the rest there. There's something else you said too, though. Oh, the respect, love, truth. Those things are always available. Just as anger, fear, we can find whatever we want. And my life started transforming for myself. My inner being started transforming when I committed to myself. No more excuses, no more blame. And that was what you said. You can't force others to respect you. And see, this was the mistake I made in the past. I thought I had earned respect. My 14 and a half years as an officer and a shop steward serving my union, after 14 and a half years of dedication and all the costs that came with that.
As an officer, you demand respect.
Well,
you don't automatically
that's the
get
office,
it.
though, isn't it? That's the office that is respected, not the man or woman.
Correct. Well, I was proud of my accomplishments too. I led our local through a lot of things. So you may not know, I ended up getting falsely accused, and then my union they misrepresented me. I yelled at my union reps, because when I came under the accusations and the charges of federal ethics violations, I stepped down so that the accusations and the battle I was facing as a man wouldn't be a detraction from my ability to serve the other workers, the other people, because of my position.
Did you lose your qualified immunity?
Yep. When I stepped down, my union brothers betrayed me and they decertified me as a shop steward, so I couldn't even fucking represent myself anymore. I had to rely on the incompetence of people who didn't fucking learn from me when they had the chance.
So you made it to the Brady list.
The Brady list?
Did you lie in court or show that you're a bad officer? Or...
Nope.
So it was retaliation against you.
It was confusion, egoic confusion. My vice president and the other lady. I can explain why it's egoic confusion.
I fucking love this loop. Go ahead. It's only been my second 100th time, I think.
Well, I don't know why you've never accepted it, because it's
your projection and perspective.
I can answer any questions so that you might accept my.
It's more likely that what he just said is true, and we have more evidence to that fact than your perspective and projection. And this is where we're going to loop every time.
I'm not understanding the claim or the basis of your argument. So
okay. Do you know how hard it is to get fired from the post office?
Yeah.
And you somehow got it done.
Right. And what were some of the details? Like I said, first of all, they brought in the attorneys from Washington, D.C. They brought in the postal inspectors. They brought in the office of the inspector general. They involved the local police department. So the people that replaced me, my union reps, they weren't as experienced and as involved as I had been. And so they were afraid of dealing with authority. And so they actually...
Is there a body cam even involved here? Is there any proof?
That's Jack's word against everyone else's, and that's why he loves it.
That's why...
What actually happened, Paul?
Of evidence, there's no reason for you to argue against my testimony.
I have boxes of evidence, too. 2 years of interactions with you and your delusions.
Right, but let's get back to the topic.
Okay, sorry.
Okay?
So I want to make this quite clear. This loop is specifically between Jack Talcott and Paul Enslaved. This is not everyone else.
And Margot, and the wife and child, and all of Spokane, and the post office, and the union reps, and I could go on.
Right.
What actually happened, Paul?
He doesn't know.
Nobody knows completely. All we have is Jack's secondhand
I
testimony,
know.
and he relies on
Paul.
that to be convincing, but he can't figure out how unconvincing his rap is. It's ridiculous on the face of it.
Paul,
Well, Marco's a scammer.
Sounds like a bunch of parroting to me.
Yes, Marco's a scammer. We can't trust anything she
sounds
says.
like parroting to you, Upstate?
I just admitted to collusion with Margot. No, I just admitted that among people deemed the most dysfunctional, arrogant, narcissistic, and other things here, we've all come to the same general conclusions. That's startling.
right.
You can't even
Paul,
get most
you're
people to agree on what
moving.
color the sky is.
Hey, Paul,
Yet we all somehow agree on Jack Talcott.
So when you say we all, who are you talking about? Because you're not talking about me.
Hank, please pause the loop, both of you. We've got a...
You're in the loop. I'm getting out of here. You're in the loop, not me.
Okay.
Good. Get the fuck out. You're desperate for attention, and you have nothing to say.
Does anyone know Crisis TV?
No. Probably a slave. Bring him in, kick him out.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I just came across your live.
Oh, it's Truth Wanker.
Enjoying.
Oh yeah, no, Jack, you don't want this guy.
No, just because wait, just because Shiva hates me doesn't mean that.
No, it's not just because Shiva hates you.
It's because you do things like call the FBI on people.
Can you
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, no, he's not a panel member. He's just a troll. He's an unintentional troll.
Thank you. I'm gonna trust your experience and your.
I appreciate that, Jack.
I'm pretty sure, at the risk of doing collectivism, which you know me, Jack, I'd be oppositional to a fault. But I'm pretty sure that Tard came over on my stream too to start up a bunch of nonsense, more nonsense than we're already doing here. So we don't need any more help with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's an interesting character if you don't mind spending half an hour with a fucking half-wit.
Well, I've already spent an hour and a half, so I guess fuck it. Pile on the wood, on the fire. Let's light this motherfucker up, huh?
Hey, I already have.
Paul, that is
goal since we started this.
Hey, Paul, that is one thing I've been learning from you. Not just your experience, but watching you too. You do have a way of rolling with the chaos. I mean, honestly, though, I think you enjoy it.
Jack, I've had to learn to enjoy it, right? In order to, I guess, reconcile here and resolve, you have to embrace the chaos sometimes. If not, you go into resistance to it, and then it takes you down from within.
It can destroy you. You're right. But here, what if? Can you enjoy it and love it enough to let it go? To let the chaos go?
I think that I have shown that at times that I'm able to, but how much of that is reality and how much of that is a comfortable hallucination? I mean, look at the world that we live in, you know?
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's possible or not, but I know I've got to try. I mean, my life has brought me to this point. I came to this. I'm not complaining. I'm not blaming. It's just my story. When my life fell apart, the old life fell apart, I had to accept it. All right, well, take everything from a man like me. I have nothing left to lose. That's got to be why it happened. I mean, my life was preparing me for this. To lose everything and to find within me the strength and the idea to continue on. And despite losing everything, I'm still trying to help others. I mean, hell, I went to city council again. I followed up with them with an email. I'm trying to help my community. And I believe if I can find a way to help my community in better ways, greater ways, the community might help me achieve some of my goals. Whether it's reuniting with my son, overcoming the disagreements with my neighbors, maybe trying to achieve justice, look into the wrongful termination that I claim to have been subjected to. And if I can do a really good job in the community, maybe someone will help me try to speak again in DC. Last time I went to DC, it was on my own and to address the executives at the United States Postal Service. I actually don't think I've even got to fly to DC this time. I think it can be done right through this laptop, this video, this microphone. If we find a way, there is a way for wars to end.
You know what they say, when there's a will, there's a way.
My will, well, it's God's will. This is what I've learned to accept.
I mean, do you two gentlemen actually want to come to a resolution, or are you just wanting to do this dance forever and ever and ever?
No. I think there's a reason we met, and we're very similar, both strong-headed, both stubborn, both like to argue. We both got good senses of humor. But I'm ready for change. And part of this discussion today too, it's another reminder of me, for me, that if my purpose is what I say, then maybe I should spend my time here actually focused on my purpose. And that would mean bringing up a lot less of the opposition and the trolls.
Why do you worry about opposition or trolls or anything else like that? Why don't you just worry about you? Nobody's going to look out for you except for you.
Maybe you didn't listen to what I was saying, but I was talking about specifically for my time here online, trolls and agents of chaos. This is, again, what I've called the ego, the human ego that's not been understood. It's the Antichrist. It's the fearful, fighting, combative, deceptive part of us. And the ego is the Antichrist. It is an agent of chaos.
Dude, do you smoke any kind of weed? Do you indulge in cannabis at all?
I have, but due to economic reasons, I'm taking a break.
That's a euphemistic way of saying you're broke, Jack.
It is what it is.
I've had to cut back on weed too in hard times.
Right, but this is, again, you're forcing a commentary on the obvious nature of the way things are, which is if you would transfer value from the 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house with one man in it, and take the fake yawn. All right, I'm going to yield. No, I got it. I got the message. I got it. I'm yielding. Forget it. I'm done.
Thank you. Yes.
Jeez.
You're missing the point. This house is not mine. I'm a renter. Okay, so you
stayed there for 2 years instead of taking the equity out and refocusing your life and managing it properly.
Paul, that's not accurate.
Okay.
And I can explain every choice I've made, but it's not the way that you want.
That's what I remember you telling me. So if I'm remembering, then I'm not actively lying. I guess I'm once again delusional or misremembering.
Paul, may I?
Absolutely.
May I ask you a question? In answer to Shiva's question, do you actually want resolution with Jack?
Again, the presumption is that I'm unresolved in myself and in my life. I'm not. I want resolution for Jack.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, but there's clearly some contention here, though, because like I can already see you have another mode. So there's, you know what I mean? There's a swing.
I mean, is there one mode here of communication or expression? I mean, do I have to be monotone and mundane like the rest of you all day, every day?
Let me ask you.
Relegate me to that.
Okay, let me ask you then. Are you enjoying this?
Absolutely.
Okay, what enjoyment do you get from it?
Well, I just told you earlier, you must not be listening. I've learned to enjoy the chaos of this realm. rather than be in resistance to it. I either create a flow or I go with the flow.
The realm, by realm, you mean this panel particularly, or
No,
this
the
life?
universe. The universe is ordered chaos.
You don't bring chaos?
And
again, are we
so
gonna
you're bored.
prosecute and
You're
persecute
bored.
me?
Are you bored without the chaos?
Not necessarily. Are
Okay.
you looking to convict me?
No, absolutely not. I am not in a position to judge you
If
either
I was
way.
bored without the chaos, I wouldn't have went to a tent and lived there for a year with nobody and nothing but myself and doing a 3-hour broadcast.
So again, Paul, I feel like maybe you were interrupted earlier and you weren't allowed to finish. What are you doing here? Why are you here? What's motivating you?
Why do you keep asking me what I'm doing here? Why am I here? As if we all don't have a freedom to be here and all don't have an equal care on some level for Jack.
It's got nothing to do with all that as if stuff. It's just curiosity. Is that why you're here? Because you care for Jack on some level?
Again, you already asked me this, so you must be a really bad listener. This is why before, when you presume nobody's smarter than you, I think that you're off the mark.
Absolutely. So that's fine. Can you answer the question though? Can you?
I guess. Does it seem like I'm going to be able to answer the question? Jack's interceding right now. Are you not noticing that?
Well, I mean, I'm noticing, but you could answer instead of addressing Jack.
Right. So then I could be seen as cutting people off and being angry and get thrown out again, right? You guys are masters.
I didn't hear you that time, Paul, because I was trying to listen to Jack.
I can't imagine any of you are ever going to get a mate or have a child who respects you playing these games constantly. But good luck.
I would not advise any young men out there.
I'm in a long-term relationship, 20+ years. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, and I would not, please, any young men listening out there, do not value yourselves on whether or not a woman chooses you to have sex with her or impregnate her, please.
I didn't say that. You projected again, just like you did earlier. You're not a good listener.
Say you said anything.
All of your accusations are hard to keep track of. And if I can please, for the love of God, interrupt the argument for just a moment. Paul, you seem to get sensitive when Denizen was asking you questions, and I believe what he said. He's not trying to persecute you. I actually think he's trying to understand you. Now, that might confuse you, Paul, because you don't like to ask questions, not unless it's for your conviction. But I think I'd like to know, too. And if you can't explain your
I answered this already. We're looping again. Do you need it again?
You didn't answer, Paul.
Do you need it again?
What is your purpose for being here?
Does the chat remember?
Stream.
Was the chat present?
Okay, Paul.
Can we get the minutes of the?
Tell you what.
Can we get the stenographers down there to recall?
I mean, I took notes.
Okay, so what did I tell you last time, since you're actually trying to understand me and it's the opposite of what I do, which is convict and persecute? What did I tell you last time when you asked me this twice already, this broadcast?
Well, what I just asked you was a different question. But when I asked you the original question about why you're here, you got interrupted by someone joining the panel. You said that it was a bit of selfishness and self-indulgence, and there was ... I'm trying to get to the ... or wonder what you mean by selfishness and self-indulgence.
Thank you.
Right. The only issue is that you pigeonholed, right? You cherry-picked on the one thing I said, trying to be as honest and accountable as I could be, and then you missed the rest of what I said, and then I was interrupted.
Okay,
so I did say a couple other things there.
I took some notes. I took some notes about that too. I was going one at a time. You also said that it was because you care about the.
So I just caught you bullshitting because you weren't going to give us the rest of the notes you took till I pointed out you heard more and didn't say anything. So there's deception.
So I took notes, and you said you also really care about what the truth is, and I was wondering how I would have went into that as well. How it is that you know to presume the truth, especially while you're preaching about how arrogant everyone else is.
Thank you. These are fair questions. And Paul, I put you in the back because of your attitude. I am fed up with this nonsense. You want to complain about everything everyone says, and it's not helpful.
It's like comparing lizards to frogs.
I mean, they're fairly similar. They're both amphibians.
No,
That's
that's the thing. I said that I love courting and the process. I've learned to love it through what I do here or away from here, right, with the courts. And beyond the self-indulgent part, I guess, like everyone here, presuming to want to be seen and heard making points, I care about what's true and what's right, and I enjoy the courting process. Like just now, it took us 2.5 hours for you to reveal conclusively you're dishonorable, bad faith, and deceptive. See, I did it all for that one moment.
Paul, again, you're placing yourself as judge and prosecutor.
No, he just pretended he didn't hear the rest.
No, you know what? I've given
I
up.
never pretended to not hear anything. That was you. You said I wasn't listening.
Yep.
I was digging deeper. And you were interrupted. Everything I said was 100% correct.
It was, Denizen, and I want to thank you for being more calm, for actually, really paying
I'm surprised he didn't yell his head off, man. That guy. Okay, listen. There's people that are delusional
Kamichka.
and think you're saying one thing when you're actually saying something else. Maybe Denizen wasn't being totally clear. Maybe he could have said it a different way, but it all remains the same. He just kept talking and talking and talking when it had no relevance to what Denizen was even talking about.
Well, this
I've
is
come
what
to know Denizen through the years, and I've seen the good and the bad. Denizen's a good dude, man, and he means well when somebody is ignorant. He wants to bring the ignorance out. You know what I'm saying? I'm a pothead. I forget shit. Don't know what I said from 1 minute to the other. I'll say something and forget what the fuck I'm saying. But there's one thing that I can say about Denizen that I know for a fact, that he is a good dude and he means fucking well. Maybe he's been pulling the wool over my eyes. I doubt that very seriously. I know Shiva too. I've known Shiva since back in the Brian Session days.
All right. Congratulations.
Like I said, life is a learning experience, not a life sentence. So you live and learn. And what you or somebody else has done in the past is the fucking past. It's why would you bring up somebody's past or even your own and make a mockery of it? Put it out there for YouTube to see. Keep your fucking shit to yourself. When I got doxxed, it was a breath of fresh air. I was like, hell yeah. Now I don't have to hide. People know where I am. I'll dox my own damn self. I've shown my 8214 online.
Hey, Upstate. Thank you for the history and introducing yourself. I'm not sure where you're going, though.
What I'm saying is, well, I've said it twice. Life is an experience, not a life sentence.
We heard that. So let's come into the experience of today, right? Because today is where life is happening. What you said too, the past is the past.
Everything we talk about is fixing to be the past.
Our future begins today. And what we do today is going to affect how we experience tomorrow on our own and with each other. Hey, Hank, thank you for that. I don't understand why any of us needs Paul's respect. Please explain. If that was for me, it's not so much of a needing respect. I've said this before, I like Paul. I actually like him as a man. I do not like the arrogant character of Paul Unslaved. I know there's a separation. There's a difference.
Is he a cop too?
No.
He acts like one.
Well, that's the ego. The ego is arrogant and abusive and controlling and bullying. And the reality is, anyone who's doing that to other people is doing it to themselves far, far more.
Or it's happened to them in the past. And they're using it as, hey man, this is normal.
That too. Hey, I am feeling like it may be a good idea to wrap up. We've still got Paul in the back, Tark is in the back, and McNemesis just joined. I have no intentions of bringing up McNemesis or Tarek, and I'm probably even, well, I don't want to be disrespectful.
I'm just saying hi to everybody. Sorry.
Is Toe here?
Yeah, Toe's right there. 8:31 timestamp.
What's up? Just some homies in my chat, Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she was AFK.
No, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, I am feeling like maybe it's time to wrap up. It's getting pretty hot in the house, and I could use some fresh air.
I thought I just cooled it down. Here, I'll take a toke for all of y'all. Okay.
He means actually warm temperature inside his house.
Oh.
Or you mean the debate is heated?
Got someone playing games in the back. Keep
yeah, that's Truth Wanker. You know, the English person who came up earlier.
Coming up as Lala or Farm, or it's IA, something like that. I'm banning these people, whoever the hell it is. This is just absolute juvenile ridiculous. This is why we have Joe Biden and Donald Trump as candidates, because people are, what the hell is going on? All right, hey guys, I've got some.
It's because people are stupid, Jack.
I know, and you know what? I've got some real asshats in the back. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. Okay, so I want to thank you guys, especially Denizen, Shiva, the efforts trying to communicate with Paul. It's truly appreciated. And Paul, I appreciate you at least being present.
Shout out to Paul. He tried. I think at least once. It seemed sincere to me.
You're right. There was efforts there, and I don't want to dismiss that. But I do feel like it's time to wrap up. And I'd really like to know who the hell this Farm or Fam is. This is
Told you it's Truth. It's Truth Wanker. The guy.
Yeah, that's the Crisis guy that came up, Crisis News Media or whatever it was, and both Shiva and I said don't let him on. That's the same guy. That's why we said don't let him on.
So he must have a whole bunch of.
He has a whole bunch of accounts, and he's also connected to you already in several tabs, so you'll never be able to keep up with it. But go ahead and ban everyone that you see, because he has to make them.
What are you doing, Farm? You're up here.
He's so spurgy right now, he doesn't even know he's on.
Little clown boy. Holy shit.
Oh,
this
shit.
is just nuts. Holy cows.
I don't think that's Paul trolling. That's Truth Finder.
Yeah, it's that other clown. All right. Any final words?
Thanks for having us, Jack. I suppose I better go and find another Christian to chat with now.
Shiva, can you go live on your channel?
I am live on my channel. I'm just not
like,
doing it streamed via the stream to this computer. I'm just doing it via OBS.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much. I appreciate you both. I appreciate everyone who tuned in, everyone who joined today. Brothers and sisters, whoever this fool is that's trolling me in the back, God help you. You know, for all these clowns that want to interrupt and disrespect, sincerely, what is wrong with people? It's truly sad, the state of this world. You know, I'm going to give up battling the troll in the back. Brothers and sisters, the topic today, what prevents change? What prevents change is truly, truly the willingness. And what I have learned, brothers and sisters, what truly has helped me is love. Love grows. You know, the whole story of the Christ, the whole story of Jesus, the commandment, the wish is for mankind to love God, to love life, to love one another. And yes, we are imperfect. We stumble, we make mistakes, we misspeak on occasion. Sometimes we react poorly, and sometimes we just do stupid things. But the whole purpose of the teachings from the Buddhas, from the Christ, all of these religions, it was teaching to perfect love. Love becomes perfected through surrender, through allowing the infinite, through the love to grow without condition, without fear, and without regret. Love, fear, hate, worry, depression, all those things, whatever you want to feel, it's now. Now is when we live. The only time we can do, feel, or say anything is now. And now is when life happens. And with that, I'm going to let life happen and wrap this up. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, what an interesting day. I'm going to go and review and reflect. For those who are on board with this idea of creating a better world, bringing more peace, more goodness, more love, more light, more unity, more solutions, for those people who want to continue that, tune back in tomorrow. Please return again tomorrow, and we will see what the future brings together. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, live without fear, and God bless us all. Thank you.